What's happening? What it is, y'all? I am Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Peace and blessings to all y'all worldwide. What it do? What it do? Broadcasting live from the ATL area. You know what I'm saying? The metropolitan regions of ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. Yo, I wanted to chop it up with y'all as I always do. We're gonna see how much we can get out. Signal behaving, and phone is charged. We ain't got to worry about that. We got that going. It's a beautiful sunny day. Cloudy as usual with potential of rainfall somewhere. May not be everywhere, but somewhere when these clouds get together, they do it every day. That's just been the kind of summer we've been having. And wanted to tell y'all about some content I was watching this morning here on YouTube. Shout out to all the vloggers, man. Everybody who does vlogging content, travel content in general, expat community here on YouTube, all the world travelers in any way, form, shape, you know, with interesting content, responsible content, respectful content, ethical content, quality content, something to say. Maybe everything ain't perfect, but none of us are. So, you know, but for the most part, I dig what you're doing, how you do it, and how you move. So I watch your stuff. Shout out to them. Okay, that's all of them. All of them. Y'all know who you be, because if you're doing it, you know what I'm talking about. Now, ONYXCON, we're not a one niche channel, so we're not just a travel channel. I said not just. We are, but that's not the only thing we do here. Okay, we have a thing I like to call the ONYXCON shopping situation. We got the ONYXCON Flip Through Shoppers Club, okay? So if you like to shop, you like clothes, you like cool stuff, you like comic books, you like games, you like toys, you like, if you're a hobbyist of some sort, more than likely we cover one of the things you into, all right? You like film, we got you. You like music, depending on what kind of music you like. If you like soulful, if you like music of the African diaspora, we definitely got you, okay? We got something in our playlist you're gonna dig. And even stuff that may be outside of directly music of the African diaspora, music that has been influenced by, we still got you. Okay? Okay. So, yeah, we're very international in that way. Now, I was watching some content with a young lady. I wish I knew her name. I said to myself, man, I got busy with something before I pushed the button, and I should have looked it up before I started, because you can't do it now. I can't look while I'm on here with y'all, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't. It's not, because I like to mention, some people I don't mention if I'm talking about it, because if I got a critique, I don't want it to seem like I'm sparking up beef or nothing. This ain't that case. This ain't nothing like that. There's nothing negative here to say. I enjoyed what I was watching, and I want to give credit where credit's due. I just don't remember her name because it's new to me. It was a totally new channel for my eyes as far as vlogging content, but she's a travel journalist, and she did express that youngish or younger black lady, I mean, probably in her 30s or 40s. I would give her 35 max. If she's more than that, she looks great for her age. You know what I'm saying? She could be about 32, I would guess. And real beautiful, fluffy, wavy hair. I'm just describing her. If you know who I'm talking about, you might know who I'm talking about. She wears glasses. Very, you know, attractive lady. She's noticeable. She's not trying to be a sex pot. She's not trying to sell her body. So she's not the kind to be scantily clad and all that. And no, we're pointing to the hotties who do all that. You know what I'm saying? We dig that. We got a whole page on Instagram called ONYXCON Hotties, where we celebrate the beauty of women, but also their talents. I can't stress enough their talents, because beauty is one. That's surface level. What else you got? You got? Do you do anything else other than look good? You know. So we showcase all of that in one place on that page. Check it out if you've never seen it. ONYXCON Hotties, HOTTIEZ, okay, on Instagram. And then we got all of our other pages: ONYXCON Outdoors, ONYXCON Rides, ONYXCON Fitness, ONYXCON Style, and ONYXCON, the main page. This is all on Instagram. Other than that, everything is at ONYXCON on Facebook, on, like I said, the main page on Instagram, 17,000 plus followers. Shout out to them. They need to all be subscribers, but they don't. If we had subscribers, boy, I try to tell you. I tell them all the time over there. I said, man, if all of y'all would subscribe and not just be numbers, we would want for nothing. And the content would be extraordinary. It already is, but I'm talking about phenomenal technically. Like the stuff I could get to take it to the next level. But let me not get off on my tangent about that, because I get quickly frustrated with that, and I'll be talking about that, and before I know it, I ain't even mentioned the lady I was talking about. So what it is she's like I said, a travel journalist, and she's written books about travel and her experiences in two main places. She's been a lot of places, but two main places she mentioned were República Dominicana, which I've been, Dominican Republic, for those who know. I like to say it the right way first, the official Spanish way, because it shows acknowledgement of cultura, okay? You know, I don't know, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I have great pronunciation, I've been told, you know, pronunciaciones, okay? I can pronounce a lot of words, and I know how to, you know, I can get around with a grin, a smile, a thank you, a hello, a goodbye, and you know, man, you'd be amazed. Hello, goodbye, and gracias will get you through most of the world. If you know how to say thank you, hello, yes, no, goodbye, good morning, good afternoon, good night, I'm telling you, people talk that stuff. I'm not saying it's everything. You need a lot more to live a place, but it'll get you by. You can grin and be born and bared. Like, people won't get, they'll think, oh, that's cute. You know a little something. You trying. Just like we do when people, I mean, if you're nice and sensible and respect other human beings, if you meet somebody from another country here in America and they don't know how to speak clear English, it's okay. You trying. I'll work with you if you're trying, man. I mean, if you got an attitude about it, like, meet me where I'm at, which is where Americans get in trouble. You go somewhere else and you act like everybody ought to do like me and act like me. Well, woo, you're not gonna have a good time. It's about to go to hell real quick, right? So, and she talked about a lot of that. It was so funny. She talked about, you know, how she knew Spanish and how much that helped. But even in knowing it, she said there was always something else. You know, she's still not from there. There's still colloquialisms and things that are specific to the place outside of formal Spanish. So, like, there is literally Dominican Spanish, like she said. Like, and then you got to imagine that being regional too. Like, there'll be a way somebody. It's just like being in Atlanta, and that's just, you know, a metropolitan sprawl. And you can be in one area and folk have a certain kind of twang, and you go in another area and they got another kind of twang, and then when they pronounce the same word, man, you don't know what's being said, you know? And I'm from here, and sometimes you be like, what that fool talking about? Oh, okay, that's what he said, you know? It's like that. It's like that, for real. So imagine that on a global scale. So she talked about that. She talked about being in a restaurant one time. She was trying to order some food. It was a really good buffet, and she said it was so funny because it's a place that a lot of people know about, so it's really popular. There's always a long line. And she said people were coming in behind her, and she knew when it got to her turn, she didn't know what the name of stuff was. So she's just pointing. And the guy is like naming what it is when she points to it and laughing. And, you know, he was nice. He didn't trip on her or nothing. And she still got her order. But now she knows the stuff, you know, what the names are and everything. But, you know, that was a process of, she liked the food. She probably came back 10, 20 times. And maybe by that 15, 20 times, she knew the names of her favorite dishes. So there's a way to learn as you go. There's a way to learn as you go. And that's commendable, you know, that she stuck in there. And even for somebody who knew basic Spanish, could humble herself to the situation and learn as she go and all that kind of thing. But she talked about there, and then she had one video. One video was just all about República Dominicana, which I enjoyed how she broke it down, the different regions and things she liked about each and all that kind of thing. Then she had another one where she was talking about Belize. And shout out to Belize, which I've never been, but I know some people from there, and they're real good folks. And I want to go. I definitely have to go to Belize. I was so close when I was in the Yucatan. I mean, if you know the map, it's like that little part of Mexico, straight down from, here's that little pip that, like, okay, here's Mexico doing like this with the ocean right here, okay, the Caribbean Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico and all that. You got this, you got this little boop at the top right there. That's the Yucatan. That's the state of the Yucatan. Right dead below, sur, south, Belize. So it's very similar in the region from what I've been told, people who've been there. Like, if you ever been to Cancun or Tulum, or hell, once you get past Tulum, like, keep going, there you go, Belize, you know? So it's familiar territory. And she talked about how she loved Belize, but infrastructure-wise, she did one of those verses where it was like she gave everybody all their pros and everybody their cons, between Belize and Dominican Republic. And she came up to the conclusion, she said she could live in Dominican Republic more so. Now, I can't speak on that because I've never been to Belize. I have been to Dominican Republic. But it gave me the idea. I said, I think I want to do one of these videos because people like these, and they get, people from the country will watch it, so that gives you numbers naturally. And I mean, it's not just for the numbers, but I do like to know when I have a thought and I want to share it, I have an audience. I'm not doing all this work for nothing, right? So I'm thinking I want to do one about the 3 places I've been so far that in my adult travel experience, because I only have, I was adult then too, but then that's still America. I was gonna say I've been to Hawaii, but that's still America. I'm talking about just international passport locations. And then when I was a kid, when you didn't even need a passport back then, like that, or at least we didn't need one as a child. Maybe my parents had one, but and I don't know what the rules are about kids now with passports for America. I don't know how that works. Anybody know? Hit the comments. Of course, I'll look it up. But if you know, let me know what you know. If there's a age, whatever, for having a passport going abroad from America. But I would love to go back to Bahamas at some point, because that's the one other place I've been when I was a kid in 5th grade. I always remember 5th grade. That was the age I was. So that would have made me like, let me see, about 10. I was probably about 10 years old when we went to the Bahamas. And that was amazing. I never forgot that water. That's when I fell in love with Caribbean water. I'd tell anybody. That was the first time I seen water look like that. I said, knowing this is possible, this is where I want to be. At some point in my life, I want to make this a regular part of my life. I want to live in a place with water this beautiful, because that was, oh my gosh. And then when you realize that that's common all over the world in certain places where the water is just like that, like, Zanzibar in Africa, East Africa, Tanzania and all that, good gracious. And then there's other places, there's places on the west that like that, Africa, you always see that. I love the contrast when you get deep into watching vlogs, because some people go to the same place so much. If a place has that brown water, like, coastal Georgia, we got that brown water. It's not the prettiest beach water. It ain't always the prettiest beaches, but it's nice. It's picturesque. It feels good. You get your feet out there in it. It's warm. At least we can say that. It ain't like the Pacific where it's ice cold. That Pacific, it's beautiful, but it's woo, and it's rough. It's strong. Cali, my LA folks, y'all know what I'm talking about. LA beaches, man, that water danger. That stuff's serious. It's like, it is sub-zero all year long. It's cold and colder, and it's rough. I'm talking about rough. But yeah, we got that smooth wave over here. It can get rough, but it mostly is just kind of chill with the East Coast, where you got that clear, deep water. I love it. It moves my soul. It's the reason for existence to be near it. I love it, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna stay in it some way, one way or another in this life. I gotta be on some water. And plus, I love to fish. So if that don't make all the sense in the world why I would love it, then you obviously have never done this stuff. You need to live some of that life, and you'll get it. Go fishing and enjoy it one time. You'll always want it. I promise you. So I thought about doing a versus video, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just have to go back through my vlogs, get y'all some cutaway footage, you know what I'm saying, from my archives, piece that together. Because I found some stuff the other day from República Dominicana. I love to roll that R. Y'all like how I do it? I like doing it. I love that. República Dominicana. I found some footage, y'all, that I didn't even realize I still had. Some lost footage, if you will, from the last beautiful hotel I stayed in Santo Domingo, that was in Zona Colonial, which is the historic region where, as I always like to say, you can romanticize it all you want. It's literally ground zero for colonialism and imperialism in this hemisphere under the Spanish, so that's the truth of it. You can twist it any way you want it. That's the reality of what it was. But Yeah, it's picturesque. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's got its charm. All the words people love to use, you know. But I will say that that particular hotel, I loved it because they kept enough of the old and they added new. It became a whole nother, like they built a new modern style structure around an old rustic courtyard of somebody's, you know, rich villa in the town, you know, some imperialist old castle, if you will. And they gutted that thing and turned it into something new meets old, and just enough of old where new is still more prominent. Beautiful. Absolutely phenomenal. And I got a video where I covered it already, but like I say, this is some extra footage. So I'm thinking I'm gonna add that footage to this video I want to do with a versus. And so I'm gonna do it like, I think I'm gonna do it like Malaysia versus the Yucatan versus República Dominicana, because that's the three places I've been. And I'm gonna give pros and cons to each and why whoever I think should win would win, and be the place that either you should first visit, second visit, third visit, and then finally I think I'm gonna do a statement on where I could see myself actually living, you know, for any length of time. And I don't mean permanently. I mean, because even as I get older, I realize like it's not that I could not live elsewhere permanently. I definitely could, but I haven't found that place yet. I haven't found a place. I haven't traveled enough to know what that is yet. And one of my goals, amongst the many goals I have for travel, like for one thing, I always say I want at least one passport stamp every year for the rest of my life, as long as I'm able to go. That was the wish I gave myself back during the pandemic and stuff, when I realized, man, I've got to do this. I got to jump on this life, and no matter what, it ain't about the money. Figure out the money. We'll find it. We're gonna get that up one way or another. But go. Don't be stuck in a place that's not, you know, you constantly talking about what's wrong and what could be better. Well, and then you like travel. It ain't just, I don't travel just because I'm sick of stuff that is whack in America. No, I travel because I love travel. And it's an extra incentive that when I get out there, I find stuff that's better in some ways, where other stuff is nowhere near better than here. But for everything that makes this better, I will say this about it. One thing about it, like you can have all the, like I'm going through an area right now that's really a very wealthy area, right? It's a nice area, but I know the limitations of even this. And I know that some things that people do for fun that ain't hurting nobody, just having a good time, whatever. You try doing that over here, and it would be ordinances involved. It would be all kind of red tape and yellow tape, and Lord forbid the cops show up and start harassing somebody. It just can't. You can't just have a good time in a natural way in some places here. And it's sad to say too that when you ought to be able to do that with good, clean fun, family style fun, ain't nobody gonna act out and be a reason why the cops get called. Like, all that goes with it in a lot of stuff in America. It's just people don't know how to freaking have a good time and do right, you know, most of the time. They doing some stupid stuff and wonder why they get the results they get. But when I, like, for example, for the opposite of that, the total opposite of that kind of BS, when I was in Dominican Republic, when I first landed there, I'll never forget, it was nighttime. Or at least I came in, it wasn't night yet, but it was falling. And by the time I got to my first, ended up not being an Airbnb I could stay in. All of this is on footage, you can watch this. I even got scenes of what I'm talking about. But I'll never forget, parked at a light. Actually, we went to a gas station. We didn't park at a light. We were near this gas station because the driver needed some gas. He said, I need to get some. I said, no problem, bro, get your gas, man. And he pulled over, and while I'm sitting there and he's filling up, I see this family sitting on, it was like a median, just like a median between the two roads. And there was like rows of chairs, older couples, and they were dancing bachata or merengue or whichever style it was. And the music was jamming, and I couldn't get enough of what I was seeing because it was so pure fun. love, family, good time, in the moment, in the middle of a damn traffic median. Just like, and it's like, if something like that happened in America, it would be so rare to see. You would be like, okay, what are they protesting? What are they doing? Or what are they trying to make a point of? Or what? Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Nothing. Just, man, we wanted to do this. This is a good spot, as good as any. And for whatever reason, I mean, for all I know, they could have been their apartments where they live or houses they live right nearby. I didn't know where I was. I don't know how that went with the infrastructure of the civic order of the street system, but I know they didn't, wasn't no cops tripping, wasn't nobody tripping. If you wanted to watch them dance, people were grinning and watching. If you want to join in, you could join in. I mean, it was a vibe. I said, I like that. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw that happen again. Now, all of this has been one trip from the airport to the door of the Airbnb. And it was maybe a 30-minute trip. So I remember seeing like, here again, it was an older couple. Now this is like a bodega, what you would say is a bodega in New York. I don't know if that's what the word they would use there, but definitely you would call it a bodega there. But it was a couple of folks in outside, a couple of people in the store, and it was looked like husband and wife, and they were dancing. And the music was good too. I think they had on some salsa, which salsa is more Puerto Rican, but they do like it in Dominican Republic. So like they were jamming and they were doing their little steps and stuff. And I said, man, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it was, I couldn't get enough because it was like everything I wanted to see, to know I had arrived at that place and I was really where I wanted to be, because, it's like you hear about it, but then as soon as you get there, you're like, I'm really here. Like, this is it. This is the culture, man. This is the people getting it the way they do. This is beautiful, right? So all that was very cool about there. And I'm just giving y'all a couple of the pros that I'll be talking about when I make this video I got in mind. So that would be one thing about Dominican Republic I really liked, how they love a good time. And a party can be a party anywhere at any time. Why not live? Yeah. So that was a good vibe. And then also, speaking of more good vibes, when I was in Mexico, the thing I liked about there, now, man, damn, we're in a parking lot. What the hell? People suck, man. Woo! If y'all had seen what just happened, I'm talking about in the total wrong, and knew it, because they looked away as soon as they did it. Like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Yeah, what the hell are you doing? Golly. Well, that brings me to one of the negative topics. See, I was trying to keep it on giving the pluses, but bump it. Let's get into it, damn it. If driving in crazy environments where people don't know how to drive, you got to be on the defensive like I just was. Thank goodness nobody hit. Man, Dominican Republic, out of control. And everybody says it, and they know it. They can't deny it. They cannot deny it. It is bad, and worse in that place when it comes to driving. People be on some other, and they don't care. It's like everybody's just, there's none of the rules that apply here. When you can go and when you can't go, that's a light. None of that matters at all. It's just whatever you can get away with, folks doing. And the motos, as they say, motorcycles, man, motos are like, they are bandits. They can do anything because they can go between traffic like they do here. You've been on the expressway and you seen a fool literally weave between cars, and everybody else is stopping, they go in between them. And if there's a turn and you're thinking, why are you zooming through when somebody might turn off? And then, well, that's that might when you see somebody flipped over dead or something. I hate to say it, but it happens. It does happen. One of the worst accidents, and I'm not saying it only happens, stuff like that only happens there. I'm saying the worst accidents I've seen in America, you could multiply that into one day in Dominican Republic, in Santo Domingo especially. I won't say that about the whole country, because when I got off into the countryside areas, it's still random. But of course, the smaller the population, the less city the population, it gets better. It gets way better for everything. Like when I was in Las Terrenas, which is in Samaná, my favorite part that I went to, it's a town, and it's a town culture. There are cars, there are trucks, but it's mostly motos. Motos of every type. You got the four-wheelers, you got the main, like you really there, like the official car of Las Terrenas would be a moto, a four-wheeler, maybe a three-wheeler, and them, what do you call it? I want to say they got them slingshots, but I know I saw, not just slingshots, but the four-wheel version of a sling. That thing looked like a dune buggy, like a stunt car dune buggy. It's just got rails and the four wheels and open seating. Them things, those are super popular. I don't know the official, I forget the official name, what I'm trying to say. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All-terrain, but they can be street legal, at least there they are. Those are everywhere, everywhere. And then you still got trucks and cars, but that's just a few delivery trucks here. And for every car and truck and whatever, you got like 20 bikes and all the other stuff I just described. You know, stuff that fits more into the bike range, ATV stuff. That's what they rock, okay? In the city, dirt bike, scooter, various other forms of motorcycle, that's it. Plus the cars, plus the trucks, plus the freaking whatever, just vans. That's Santo Domingo, and it's too much. It's a true city. It's hella crowded. It's very congested. They say it's some of the worst traffic in anywhere, and especially in the Caribbean. Everybody says it. Every video I've ever seen, no matter how much they love the country, people from there will say it. People visiting there will say it. People who've been there will say it. It's the absolute truth. Now, because of that, I would say that that part right there is the number one reason why, in terms of living in Santo Domingo, I don't know if I would. I don't know. I think you got to find the sweet spot, because it's a huge city. There's different regions. Maybe you can find an area that's not as crowded, not as. I would say, hell, if you can afford, because that's starting to become very trendy, and it's definitely a tourist zone. Zona Colonial, if you could live somewhere there in the most artsy, foot trafficked area, more so, because there's areas where they don't even want cars really. So you don't see a lot of, either there's no cars or barely any cars, because they want only tourist traffic in those zones. That would be, now then you'd be in some stuff, because you can walk, you ain't gotta worry about walking outside and getting ran over as soon as you walk out or nothing, There still would be a bike, and there's still gonna be motorcycles for sure, but I don't even know about that. I can't remember exact, but I know in some of my videos, if you go back and watch, there'll be areas you'll notice there's no cars over here, no bikes, no nothing, because it's supposed to be a walking street, And when you're on those, that's what they are, period. Like one I know I went down in Zona Colonial. There's a very old street that literally is just a walking street. There is no vehicular traffic over there. And like I said, if you could live on one of those streets, you got it made. Yeah. Yeah, y'all. Oh man. But yeah, that's what I think would be probably your best option if you were living there. Then, like I say, it's so big, I didn't get the chance to see all of it. Some of it you would never want to see, because I know it's a real city. It's got real hoods. And I never forget when I was there, I did look at like a map of where the danger zones are. And there were big swaths of areas that you wouldn't want to be. So unless you were near like some of the richest malls and stuff like that, like definitely if you could live in those areas. Now you would have to deal with the traffic if you were driving, but I would never want to drive there if I lived in, I would never want to drive. But here's the thing, ultimately, I don't want to live in a city. The last time I lived in a city in my life was in college, my first year of college in Brooklyn. And that was back when Brooklyn was really Brooklyn in New York. And even that was like living in a really urban neighborhood more so than a city. That's what it really is, you know. Now it's more of a city from what I've seen from the gentrification and what they've built with all the new stadiums and new, you know, new high rise, whatever, this, that, and the other. It's a lot more city than it was when I was there from what I've heard and seen on videos about Brooklyn now. But I don't like that life anyway. I don't like all up on people. I don't need to go outside. Like some people talk that ish about they don't like this, like that, but they don't even feel right if they don't walk outside and see 2,000 people. Like I am a people person, but I'm a selective people person. I like to pick and choose who I'm gonna give my energy to and put my energy around. I don't want to just be around any and everybody just cause it's where it's at and there's a bunch of people there. No, that's always gonna be a hodgepodge of energy. You're gonna get some you can't stand, others you might like a little bit, and others you could, man, please, I ain't never need to know you in life. And people come and go out of your energy like that because you ain't got no choice but to tolerate them because you in that mix. Versus when you got space, and that's why I don't like complete city, I don't like complete country. I like a little bit of just a nice regional area, like the towns, the surrounding suburbs and stuff like that. But more importantly, is it on a beach? Because if it ain't near no water, we done. And I mean beach, not no cliff, rocks with trash in the water, which is mostly what you see in Santo Domingo. Because again, we back. We are back, continuing on with my convo, what I'm saying here. So, yeah, like I said, y'all, you know, Santo Domingo, from what I can see, yeah, the ocean is right there on the coastal part of it. Because every town, every city has to have, people need water. So in the history of humanity, you're going to always either have some well water, a river nearby, a pond, a lake, or the ocean, or a stream, or whatever body of water you want to call it, naturally occurring or human made, you know, folk create canals and all this type of stuff. You're going to always have that. So in this case, the ocean is right there. But I did notice, like, unless you were in certain parts, like near certain major highways where, yeah, you'll see fishermen hang off the cliffs. And I don't know how they doing that off them kind of cliffs. Them some, man, you fall in, you gone. Like, man, please, the push of the water slamming up against them rocks, like, it weighed you out and throw you into them rocks. That's like, man, that's like somebody just literally threw you into a brick wall. Like, I don't know how they fishing off them cliffs like that. But that's that other stuff, you know, that people are native to a place. They've been doing it all their life. They've been doing it since they were kids. They know how to do it and do it right. And I would see the guys, like, they be out there on a moto. They would have a moto parked on the side. And you see them coming back up the cliff. And they got whatever in the bag, or maybe they hanging it over their shoulder, got a couple of little fish. I ain't never seen nobody coming with no monster, but not to say it don't happen. And that's comida, that's food. They trying to feed the family, like they out there for real. And it'll be two people on one little tiny bike and all that. I mean, I see people carrying all kind of crazy stuff. Whole family on a bike. Guy in front, wife on his back, baby in between them, another baby on the back. I mean, I saw it all. So folk go hard for it. They get it one way or another. It's amazing. But I learned quick from seeing that, like I say, it's different. And your expectations of how it would be if you lived there is, you gotta be honest with yourself. Like, look, man, as much as I like to fish, there ain't nothing about Santo Domingo that appeals to me for that, because it's not the right part of the island for that. You need to be somewhere where there's the beach, or somewhere where there's a river or a lake, which they got all that too. And in the rivers, like every damn where, just about where human existence, a lot of those can be contaminated or not the kind of water you want to eat out of. Some of it, not all, but there's areas like that again. But if you find an area where it's clean, okay, cool, now we're working with something. They got beautiful, like there's a couple of lake systems and stuff, or I know they got a lot of waterfalls and stuff, and natural spring type water in areas. Now that, yeah, you know, And that's in the jungle. So again, you gotta hike. I like to hike. You know, so it's options. It's options of stuff with there that I must say are appealing to me. And it looked doable. I did not really get to hike when I was there. It was part of the things I wanted to do. I didn't have enough time to fit it into one of the days. I was even almost planning it out with a tour guide. I was talking to the guy about, yeah, yo, so we'll meet at this time, that day, okay, yeah, okay, all right. So I was trusting it, knowing that I could do it, but then it came down to time and cost, and it wasn't even the cost, it was the time for that. I just, all right, never mind. I wanted to do that. But things threw it off. Like, I had so many hiccups on that trip. I'll talk about it all the time. If you've never seen it, it's one of my most prolific works, sharing that experience. Because I went through hell with the Airbnbs out there. If that stuff, like if the second Airbnb hadn't been a hot mess with this crazy security guard situation I went through, like I say, all of this is in my videos. Just look up ONYXCON Dominican Republic, you'll see. It's about 8 videos, maybe even more. I forget how many. But the one where I said Airbnb nightmare turns to paradise. And that's my favorite one in the series because I showed how I took lemons and made lemonade, y'all. I ended up coming up because of their mess up. But I had to go through the pain because of it. Like, it still threw off my schedule. It still threw off my money. It still made me have a deficit financially. I ended up making a good trip out of it no matter what. But damn, talk about the lesson learned. Sheesh. I can't bring it up without thinking about it. It gets to me every time. So that, and then those are the things that happen culturally that, you know, they say one bad fruit spoils the bunch. Yeah, man, that one thing, and it wasn't one. It happened a couple of times. There was a couple of major incidents that made me say, okay. And that's the kind of stuff that literally makes you say, you know, would I live here? If I did, how much tolerance would I have for this stuff that I know I'm gonna have to deal with versus stuff I might have to deal with? Because there's the stuff you gonna deal with, the stuff you might deal with, and stuff you may never have to deal with, depending on your money, depending on your ability to, you know, infuse with the culture and not just be tolerated, but accepted and appreciated. Like, people really do know you and like you in your neighborhood and that kind of stuff like that. If you can get a situation like that anywhere, you good. You know, that's a general principle to consider. And so I will say this. Now, with that part, Mexico, I honestly think, see, I'm almost doing the video right now. Like I said, we just brainstorming. If I do the official video, I'll put some cutaways with it and let y'all see what I'm talking about. But Mexico so far might be the only one I can see myself truly wanting to live in. I could live in all 3 of these places, but like first pick, probably Mexico and Playa del Carmen. Why? Because first and foremost, Malaysia is so freaking far away. If you had any kind of family emergency or any reason you needed to come home, yo, man, they ain't gonna see you for 2 days. And if they needed you there tomorrow, forget about it. You ain't, no, and don't mess around and have a layover, a layaway. I mean, some you know, delay in your flight, something. Oh my gosh, you ain't, man, please, you anywhere from 2 days to a week worth of nonsense and getting back home. And your clock gonna be all jacked up because it's 24 difference. So I liked it, I enjoyed it. I still want to explore Southeast Asia in general. But I made up my mind once I had that trip. I said, man, I got to get the kind of money where, you know, as an institution, ONYXCON can afford to go do a vlog series that takes me on a month. Like, that's really how you want to do that. You want a month. Fully paid up. Ain't got to worry about nothing. You got backup money for any problems. You know, really and truly, like, you need about 10 G's. People always talking about the bag. The bag usually mean about 10,000 for start. Let me get the bag. Let me get 10,000. I'll give y'all the ultimate, I repeat, ultimate Southeast Asian travel experience. Because I would go multiple places. First of all, on the layover, I wouldn't land in Turkey and get no layover. I'd be like, bumping, I'm going to see Turkey while I'm here. So you get an extra region just by chance of the way the flights run. Instead of staying in, I'll say this every time I talk about it, instead of sitting in the damn airport for 11 hours in Istanbul, no. I saw Istanbul. I did 3-4 days there. Then you get back on the plane, going over to Malaysia. After about 3-4 days in Malaysia, we up to 8 days now. Okay, that's the first week. Right, first week, layover, town, you know, Turkey, like I said. And here's the thing, you're gonna have to come back, and you're probably gonna have the same to do a couple of more days in Turkey on the way back, doggone it. You know what I'm saying? 3 or 2. But you don't need to do a 3. You don't need to 2 or 3, especially if you're gonna do it on the way back too. You know, if you got that kind of money to play with and enjoy yourself and not be stressed about it, right? Boy, it feels good just to say that out loud. I don't know about y'all, but I like to do that. I like to talk about stuff I know I can't afford at all right now. But that's now. Because none of the stuff I did I once upon a time think I could have done. Man, Malaysia, what you talking about? If my old self had talked to myself that did it, he'd be like, man, you crazy, man. You ain't going to know Malaysia. The hell I ain't. I did it. I did it. You know? Can't tell a man who done it what can't be. I done seen too much, done too much, and I know what else I can still do. As long as I'm able, I'm going. That's the motto. Have that energy, y'all. Keep that energy up like that. So, yeah, I would do, like I say, Istanbul probably, because that's where it'd be the same layover it would always be most of the time. Sometimes they give you Dubai too, or there's options with it. I've never been there. I would do that. You know what I'm saying? So you do that for a couple of days, then you do Malaysia. Then, since it's so close, you gotta do Thailand. You do Thailand for a week. We up to 2 weeks now, right? Right? Yeah. You got a week and 2 weeks. Because like I say, Malaysia I've already been, so I would go on a different part I've never been. You know, I would maybe start in KL one more time, just to have a couple of days in KL and 2 or 3 more days in some other part. Like fly to some other region, go fishing there, somewhere in the jungle with a guide. That's the kind of vibe I'm talking about. I gotta get me a real serious size Tomon. Tomon is the large giant snakehead, one of the fiercest fish in fresh water. That is a dream fish of mine. I've only caught a baby. I can't say I've caught one, but I caught a baby, a little old thing that was mean. They mean as hell even at that age. Love them. Beautiful, beautiful fish. But yeah, I want to do that. And then there's a couple of other different, all kind of snakeheads and catfish and everything I would like to catch in that region. So that would just be another giving of it. Every place I'm talking about, wet a line and put some fish in the boat or on the shore, wherever we can do it from. Got to go in Turkey even, like whatever they're known for. Honestly, I don't know what Turkey's known for fish, but I know they probably have something in that Masir family, because I've seen stuff in this Masir carp type family that tend to be in the Middle East region. So yeah, I would do all that, you know what I mean? Then you go to, like I say, Thailand had to be one. So there, now you're up to 2 weeks worth of fishing, travel in general, hotels, all kind of resorts and beauty. Can you imagine how fun that is already with 2 weeks? Then check it. We too close to Bali. Why not? Why not? And I tell you what else I really would love to do after Thailand. There's Philippines, and then there's Indonesia. Now see, damn, now we almost into a month and a half. we done went into a month and a half. We gonna need more time. Why not? Let's just act like we got it. We balling, right? We just having fun talking about it. Why not? We gonna do it. If we think it, we gonna do it, damn it. So that's that part, right? Indonesia, I want to see that too. I'd love to go for Bali, Indonesia, for any of these places when they have some type of festivals. You know, anything with masquerades, I want to see all of that. I want to really, I'm big on that, and I always want to see that. And a lot of times when I find a way to make a trip, it doesn't always coincide with those times. It just went with whatever was most affordable. And those are peak season times a lot of times, because everybody wants to see that stuff. You know, a lot of foreigners want to come and see it. And then, of course, it's big for people coming home to see stuff they've been growing up on. They from everywhere else now, but they from there for real. They coming home for the big festival. You know, it's like Rio in Brazil. About to get me started on Brazil. Lord have mercy. That's a whole nother one now. Yeah, like I said, you do that for like that whole region. I would get all of that. All of that. That'd be like I said, a month and a half, right? Now, if I really had time and could just stretch it, like a 2 month, Because we balling, right? Hey, we having fun. We freestyling, y'all. There's no limit. We can do whatever, right? We talking. Let's talk it out. Tell you who else on the list. If I'm that close, why the hell we're not going over there to Australia, right? I mean, you know, the Polynesia, all of that. All of that. But now I'm damn near wrapped the world again. But yeah, Australia's big on the list. But I'll tell you what I've always wanted to put with Australia, because I realized in my research, geographically, they have similar weather, longitude and stuff to South Africa. And just put a line across from South Africa to Australia, you'll see what I mean. So their weather, if you look at their patterns or their seasons, it's almost identical. When it's hot, it's the same time of year. When it's kind of cool, it's the same time of year. When they get rain, it's the same time of year. So you pick, I call it the AA trip. And I've talked about this before. Australia and Africa in one trip, but especially South Africa. But I call it the AA because you're going to the continent, you know. So the continent, Africa. So yeah, I want to do that, man. I want to go see South Africa, Cape Town particularly, because I've heard so much about the beaches, how familiar it can be, and it reminds you of California, and I love Cali, so that would work. That would work for real. And then Australia and New Zealand, because I don't see why not. If I'm gonna get that close to Aotearoa, that's the real name. Shout out to my Maori brother and sister. In the Maori language, the Maori say Aotearoa, and that's what I call it first. So yeah, I would have to see Aotearoa, and why not? Why not, right? Stop playing. Let's go. Oh my God, I get excited just talking about it. I get excited just talking about it. You feel me? Like, I would have to see all that. I'd have to go to a Maori village, all kind of Maori cultural stuff. I love their culture, their arts, the beauty of the tattoos. Hey, if I had the nerve, I might get tattooed while I'm there. Because the beginning of the word tattoo comes from tatau, from Polynesian languages. Specific language. It's one of the many. I don't know which, I gotta look that up. I want to know which Polynesian language is that root word. Like tattoo, where they tattoos, they're like, yeah, that's the ultimate. Yeah, yeah. I don't need it. I don't need it. I respect it. I'm good. Just gonna give me the gun. Let's get it over with. Hurry up and oh, you almost finished? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about what I'd have to do. But yeah, I love all of that. I love all of that. Respect it. And there's so much beauty to that, I swear. And being an artist myself, I got so many ideas for tattoos, so I think that's the main reason I don't have any yet, aside from the pain. The pain is the #1 reason. But I've never been able to completely just say to myself, what is something I know absolutely I'll never get tired of looking at every day of my life when I see it on my body? You know, it's gotta be that. I gotta look at it and be like, yeah, no regrets. That's how it's gotta feel. It can't be, man, why the hell did I do that? You know, no. Or you take your shirt off and you think you got a big roach on you and you forget that you got this. So that's why some of y'all be cracking me up when y'all get these tattoos. I see stuff from afar and I'm like, oh, what the hell disease is that? And then I'm like, oh, that's a tattoo. Whew. Like, you got to think about that. You got to get something that does not look like a growth. It's got to look like, no, this is intentional. And this is beautiful. It is undeniably beautiful. Not, what the hell is that growing on your back, on your arm, or your... It can't be looking like that. Yeah, y'all. We back. Okay, so, yeah, so I was talking about the differences in all these places and what the benefits are and places I want to go. So yeah, when I think about ultimate trips, like I say, like months-long travel, tens of thousands of dollars, quite frankly, but, I'll tell you one thing, I don't know about you, but no matter how bad the economy seems to be in America right now, there's no lack of feeling like, oh man, what am I doing wrong? Where all these millennials and other folk out here that been had money just throwing it in your face on social media all the time. They always got it. They just always going. They always doing whatever they want. So I'm like, look, scamming and all kind of other stuff must be better than it ever has been, because I don't know where all this money is falling out of the sky for all these sometimes educated and otherwise not even that well educated folks that just know how to play the system. So y'all do you. I know one thing I'm gonna do is keep on keeping on regardless and figure out a way for ONYXCON to thrive. Okay, because we teaching while y'all just flexing and flossing. Well, that don't last forever. I know that fact. That don't last forever. But when you're doing it from a respect, okay, respect first, all right, then power, then money. Oh man, you're talking about longevity. See, I don't want to just visit places. I want to create relationships with places I visit. You know, individuals and institutions and organizations, even if not tourism boards for countries that welcome and know that we can bring more people there, because don't tell the truth about our travel now. I'm big on, I hate to watch a vlog and people sugarcoat stuff and then you get there and it's like, this is nothing like what they said, man. This place got this problem, that problem. Why didn't they mention this? No, tell the truth. But while you're telling the truth, don't always harp on the negative. Show the good stuff too. Show the best of a place, you know, so people get a genuine decision. You know, you're going to say to yourself, okay, can I tolerate that problem or this problem to have that experience? And then you're going to still maybe go, you know? And that's my goal, is always, you know, I'm always weighing everything out before I make a decision on a place to go anyway. So, and then I'm not trying to do what most people do. I'm just not trying to be that run-of-the-mill, yet another vlog doing the same doggone thing the last group of folk did. And I always say, if I find myself in a place where I'm doing that thing that everybody has done because I wanted to see it too, just make sure whatever I did while I was there was different than what they, I mean, it's going to naturally be different because I'm different. Just me being in it is going to make it unique. But also try and add something else to it to spice it, flavor it differently. You know, and the last umpteenth video of, you know, the folks on the beach feeding the pigs in the water. You know, or, I mean, Brazil, like I mentioned, Brazil, I'm not religious, so going to see Christ the Redeemer is not high on my list for going to Rio. I'll make sure I acknowledge its presence and take a picture of it or do a video near it or something like that, but spending the money to go up the hill and stand in front of it, it's not important to me. That's just me being real, where I stand on what matters and what is intriguing to me. You know, my counter to something like that would be, take me to Bahia, and let me go inside of one of the carnival troops headquarters and witness a jam session for them preparing to hit the street and do a carnival. I saw a documentary about something like that with a group. I forget the name of the group, but they're one of the most famous out of Bahia. I remember their colors were red, black, yellow, and white. Think the colors and how the brightness of the colors of that specific flag to Baltimore, Maryland. Okay, or just no, it's not just Baltimore. It's Maryland. The whole area of Maryland. They got that checkered flag with the crest and all the old heraldry looking stuff, but the colors are real bright. That's how this group's colors were, and they, boy, I'm talking about, they put on a show. And it was a documentary all about the group, how it was started, how they became famous, why they're one of the most sought after to come see when people come to Brazil in that area of Bahia. And I was like, see, that's the kind of stuff I want to do, man. I want to see that. I want to talk to folk on that level. You know, let me get in good with some folk who do candomblé, and we go to a real bimbe. You know what I'm saying? Or show the beating process and the creative crafting process of making up the uniforms for Carnival, you know? Yes. It's all about being different, y'all. It's all about being different, and I am naturally different. So, you know, I'm always go somewhere most people don't. I'm always strive and look for that. Versus some people, they literally just gonna hit the checklist of what's common, what everybody done, and think that just them doing it makes it different. But then, even as individuals, some of these people are not unique enough that it makes their version of it any different. It's just, man, please, different from the last one I saw like this. Now, some people got that kind of personality. Like, yo, they bring to it, and those are the vloggers I mostly like to watch. They got big enough personalities. They have certain quirks and interesting ways about themselves that make them, they ready for the camera. That's all I can tell you. It's just, it's something you understand from being in the film business. Some people got the gift of gab. Other people, they just not so much. And some of they come from that life, so they professional about it. Other people, they making it up as they go, but they're not too bad at it. They're pretty good. They got great personality. They got big personality. They're friendly people. They're comely. Folks like being around them. They can have a conversation and hold one well. So that's everything. That is everything. So I ain't gonna overtalk this much more. Like I say, I got an idea. I think I'm gonna go ahead and implement that. It may take a little time. But if I get on it, it ain't gonna take too long. I got other stuff to do, of course, always. But if I get that done anytime soon, those of you who tuned in this live, y'all will be happy to know. Man, he said he was gonna do it. Here it is. Yep. I'm gonna do something like that, like Malaysia, Cancun, well, not just Cancun, just Yucatan versus República Dominicana. Where could I live? Where could I see myself, and why? Or why not? And if not living, just, a few months out the year, something like that. Stay tuned.